We've all seen the posh, expensive adverts for jewellery. What I'm going to show you here is that you don't need expensive equipment to get just as good imagery by using some fairly inexpensive equipment and accessories. What I'm using here, I have a set of Christmas tree lights. It's multicoloured, a single LED torch. I have some soft fluffy feathers found from the garden. Items I'll be using my Canon 7D Mark II with a standard 50mm 1.8 lens and a 13mm extension tube. I'll also be trying out my 100mm macro lens. The items I'll be using, I've bought these from charity shops, antique stores, house clearance sales, cheap £1–2 fake jewellery items, and the same with this little bag of rings. It's just cheap fake jewellery. The ones with a better larger jewel make the image stand out more. One of the reasons some of this fake jewellery is cheap is because it's damaged or broken. You can see here it's been repaired by pieces of string in the past. Some of the jewels are actually scratched, chipped, but as long as the main gem itself is sound, that's the important bit. On the necklaces, it doesn't matter if the bitting be all tied up on the ends here. We're not using that bit. We're using the rest of it. That's the important thing. That's why it's so, let's say, inexpensive. The other thing I'll be using is my polished black tile. Gives a nice bit of reflection, but it's not a perfect reflection, it's subtle, which is what we're aiming for. This is the basic setup. Camera here with the 50mm lens on. You can of course use any standard kit lens. Unfortunately I don't have one, but I'll be using images at 3.5, which most kit lenses have an aperture of at least 3.5. With a 13mm extension tube on, just so I can get it closer. So instead of being over here, I'm somewhere around here. Now make sure the tile is of course clean. Saves a lot of time in post-processing. The Christmas lights, as you can see, has multiple settings. It'll work a lot easier if they're only on one setting, turned on all the time. What I've done here, basically I've scrunched them into a single line, trying to keep lights fairly even. Looks good in the background. Now, taking one ring, it's got a nice large clear gem on it. Again, as with the tile, make sure it's nice and polished. Just clean of fingerprints. They will show up very easily. Now, taking a small piece of blue tack, in this case it's white tack, just want to attach it to the bottom of the ring. Just there. This of course will keep it in position. Like that. This is where you start checking your focus, checking your alignment, seeing you've got some nice lights in the background. If not, simplest thing, put it onto live view, just move it around until you get a nice image. You can then take the fake pearls, just lie them around the base. If you've got the little bit of blue tack showing, you can just hide that quite easily. And because the image is just there, that's all we're doing. Using a feather, if you want to add that to it, sometimes just thread it through, like that. Light behind, tuck it in, however you want to play with it. And of course when you're using the LED light, literally it's just moving it around, aiming it, so whatever's seen in live view, you can then see when the ring will pop of colour. Of course when I'm taking these images, the lights will be turned out so I don't get any unwanted reflections. Lights are now off. Now I can start taking images. There is no shot right now. You can't see the ring. It's black, dark, till you start adding the LED light. Holding it just above, aiming it where you want, just to make the ring pop out. You'll find it will sparkle in certain positions more than others. Don't forget, you can narrow the beam just by sticking your fingers over the end, putting the light exactly where you want it. Don't have to light the entire scene. Just make the ring